How do you feel about your home state? Are the fans there different, and do you prefer to perform there more?
No, I don't. It's not my favorite place in the world to perform.
Why not?
Specifically because the guest lists are too long, and every aunt and uncle that you only see at your shows, not even at Christmas, tend to want, access to sit on the drum riser. But seeing Bon Jovi in New Jersey has become quite special. It's true, and of course we, always have a great time here. But it's not my favorite place, and I think it would take a lot of people by surprise. My favorite place in the world that I always look forward to the most is Dublin, Ireland.
Really?
Yeah. Strangely enough, I've got some kind of passion, and I haven't a drop of Irish blood in my body, and I beg to be adopted. But there's something that I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's a past life experience, even, because there's something in Dublin that keeps drawing me back.
And is that like an on-the-stage thing, or is it before or after the
no,
show?
it's the city. It's something about the people. It's something about the accent. It's something about the passion that if you fell down on the stage and split your pants, they'd get up and pat you on the back and tell you to get back in front of the microphone. There was just always a real love between us and the fan base there that, my goodness, it's long-standing and really big.
All right. Aiden Bettag in Dubuque, Iowa asks, what 3 songs have the highest play count on your iPod?
Wow. I don't know. Those kind of questions are always hard to answer, and I haven't got it in front of me. But
or more generally, is there a band that's really been capturing your attention recently?
Well, there's a number of bands that I would say capturing my attention most recently. I've been a great fan of Damien Rice in the last few years, and that's something I remember playing out, especially the last album, most recently, this Amy Winehouse record there is Winehouse, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's slaying me. I love the sound of the record. I like what she's doing there. So I really do find great solace in what's coming out of the next generation of songs and songwriters. I think that there's some great reinventions of classic styles of music that they're taking and making their own and giving to another generation.
What do you think for your own music would go down in history? If you had one song that would go down as the one that showed who you really are, which one do you think it would be?
I mean, if there was only one, I'd have to think that it'd be a tough choice between Living on a Prayer and Wanted Dead or Alive, but maybe because the themes of Wanted are a little more universal, it makes Prayer that much more unique. There's nothing that you can say is derivative about that song. It's its own entity, And so if there was one song this band should be, or will be remembered for, I'd hold that one up pretty high.
Now that you've done all of this in music, do you have other aims that people might not know about? Daniela Igreja in Lisbon, Portugal, wants to know what your next dream is.
Well, anything that I've cared to try thus far in my life, I did. Some things worked out, some things did not. But I've always said of myself that I was never going to be a coulda, shoulda, woulda kind of guy. I was going to do it and dare to fail at it. So I think the only thing that I'd like to think that I would have for the next 20 years is continued longevity, and then health and family.
Readers did send in their own ideas about what they think you should be doing for the next 20 years.
A lot of orders at the Burger King.
That's right. No. These guys want to see. They want more movies. They want more shows. They want you to release more albums, and like I said, they want you to do that big India tour. But Sharon Seaman in Las Vegas did ask if, since you've become such a successful businessman over the years, have you ever considered writing a book that discusses your business style and philosophy?
I considered it.
Mm-hmm.
Went as far as to see the check and gave it back.
Really?
Because I think that what publishers were really looking for was more of a tell-all, and that cliche doesn't appeal to me at all. So I believe that my life story is only half written, and that the bands needn't be told. So we gave the money back.
So you got the sense that they weren't actually looking just for the business side.
No.
Yeah.
No, I know for a fact that was why I took their meeting.
Mm-hmm.
But when I started to read the pages, they were looking for dirt and the cliche, and I'm not interested in that.
But you have done a lot of business over the year. I mean,
most certainly. I could give the next generation some great advice. Not that they would take it, and I have to qualify that answer by saying this: I wouldn't have taken it.
Uh-huh.
To each his own, and each of us has to carve our own path based on experience. Like I said, there was a turning point in this band's career in 1990, 91, 92,
mm-hmm.
when either you go over that hump and you not only survive but thrive, or you go back and you ultimately implode. And I can tell you how we did it and why we did it, and I think that would be a great model for that next generation of band. But to each his own.
Right. Now, you have you mentioned that moment a couple times in the early 90s. Lucia Romagno in Chicago asked, what is the proudest moment of your career? Was that it, or was it when you first had your first big hits? Or
that's a tough answer, because from the time you play guitar as a teenager in a garage, each little milestone you think is the be-all and end-all. And from the time you played that block dance to the time you played a nightclub to the day you got a record deal to the day you had a number one album to the day you played 10 nights at the local arena, it continues to get bigger, it continues to get better, and it continues to be more fulfilling. I don't use those road markers to pat myself on the back. They're all just another asterisk in the book somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, to me, it's not, the story's just not going to be told for another 30 years.
So a lot of things have to come out in the wash before you'll figure out.
I think a career is a marathon, and any honest to goodness career, and I don't mean 1, 2, 5, or 10 years. I mean 25 and on. That's when you start talking about a body of work. That's when you start talking about having had an influence and a voice in the community. That's when I even will be able to look back and say, this was the good era, this was the bad era, this is why that happened. I still think it's premature.
Mm-hmm. Somebody, probably quite premature also, but it's Sandra Bell in Miami. It says, I know you're a fairly private person, but if there was a movie about your life that would be made, what would the title be and who would play you?
Somebody jokingly already told us it was going to be Affleck and Damon.
They trade. It
was going to be me and Richie, so,
right.
But I guess, I don't know. It depends on how you want to look at it. If it's going to be Blaze of Glory or Living on a Prayer, or It's My Life, I don't know yet. We'll like I say, the book isn't written yet, so the screenplay can't be done.
Gotcha. Somebody had asked about, I guess the other question is, what phase in your career, what look would they be going for? Somebody had asked, said that back in the 80s you said that to achieve that look that you had, you would stick your head out of a car window.
Oh, Lord.
On the way to the gig. Now, is that true?
That sounds a bit exaggerated.
Okay. And they asked if that was still the case. They're big fans of your hair still. So.
Oh no! Don't say this from Time magazine. I hold you guys up in such esteem. Not a hair question.